What is shaking, everybody? We are back, and it is my pleasure to welcome to the show a good friend of mine, a man that I have worked with many a time, long time ago. And you can catch him on the NFL Network. He does the Chris Rose Daily Rotation podcast, John Boy Media. Just one of the really good guys in media, and a guy that you can talk Cavs, you can talk Browns, you can talk Guardians, you can talk any sport you want to talk with him. But I know he's a big Cleveland fan, and we'll get into that in a little bit because the Cavs are rolling this year. My friend Chris Rose. Chris, how you doing?
Tommy, it's good to be with you. Good to be with you. We have rebranded the Chris Rose Rotation. It is now Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. It's a little bit different. So this year we started going out to the ballpark, which has kind of been really, really nice for me. So we do like a lengthy 10-minute interview with a star-ish.
Okay.
So the first 3 weeks, Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals, Mike Trout. And then next week, it'll be Tarek Skubal, your reigning AL Cy Young Award winner, the Detroit Tigers. And then we also have kind of a fun little segment where my wife is involved. It's called Questions with the Queen. Those have been bouncing around social media, so maybe you've seen them. You can go check them out on our JM Baseball YouTube channel. Thank you.
Give me an idea of a question.
So some of the ones we did, we went around spring training to kind of get ahead of this, and we went to 5 different teams and probably talked to 30, 35 different players, and we'd ask them the same question, right? The same 6 or 7 questions, like what's your hidden talent? That one was good. We had a guy Alex Vesey of the Dodgers, a reliever, rides a unicycle. Who knew?
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we had a guy do a bird call for us. A couple of guys who'd sing, not on camera, but claim they could be singers. Some guitar players, that sort of stuff. So it's good. It's quick, fun, in and out.
Does being able to sit and watch sports for 8 hours, does that count as a hidden talent? Because not a lot of people can have that type of stamina.
Well, if so, then I'm like at the top of the list because that's kind of my daily thing. I'm actually doing it while we're doing this interview. I'm watching. I just watched your Angels just hit a grand slam. You weren't recording the game, were you?
I am, but that's okay. I'm still happy. Who hit it?
I can't tell. All I know is that it happened, and now they've got their celebratory firefighters lid on. I don't know if that was Taylor Ward or not. I can't see from here. So they just went to break. I'll let you know, though.
Did he do the Walt Reniak, let the back go, like the big one-arm extension? That could have been Ward. Yeah, absolutely. Could have been. I don't really care who it is. All I know is the Angels are winning. And I always tell people it's early in the season. Don't overreact unless your team's in first place, and they're probably not going to be there very long. So I'm going to overreact, and I know we're rolling. The only game we lost to was at the time a first-place Chicago White Sox team. I don't think that's the case anymore, but I don't think it's going to last. But who knows? That's the beauty of the beginning of baseball season. Everybody has these fantasies about what their team could become, even though reality's sitting right on your other shoulder. And you think maybe you could piece it together and get lucky and stay healthy and stay in the race for a little while. So who knows? I can dream.
That was Logan O'Hoppe.
Hoppy. I like O'Hoppe.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one.
Yeah,
good.
They don't even have Neto. You get Neto back. We rolling.
He had a great year last year. Great.
Yeah, he'll be a juggernaut.
Talk? Is this Angels?
What's that? Yes, absolutely. Be quiet.
All right.
Well, don't be quiet. But anyway, no, look. We as an Angel fan, you about a month into the season, it's over. But I guess the big story in baseball so far is the torpedo bats and how those are affecting, and that's usually where I break out the. Let's try to get a month into the season before we overreact to these things. I know the Yankees hit a bunch of home runs. They do have guys that can hit home runs. So let's see how it shakes out. But what are you hearing from players and people in baseball about the torpedo bats? To me, it's still really too early to tell, but I'm curious to see how this kind of unfolds.
Yeah, I don't think it's as big a deal to the players as it is. You know, we had Trevor McGill of the Milwaukee Brewers say, listen, I can't wait to see the data. Of course, it's the Yankees, so baseball's not going to care if they use them. Well, first of all, it's perfectly legal. And some guys were dabbling in it last year, not a ton. There have been a number of players since last weekend who have gone right to their people and have said, get me those bats as quickly as you can. Certainly makes sense. The only question I've got is if we do see a rise in offense, and they can somehow attribute it to these bats. Is that what baseball wants? That's all. Not whether it's legal, not whether or not it's fair. It's all legal. It's all fair. The Yankees did something wrong. You know who did something wrong last weekend? The Brewers. They threw the ball down the middle.
Yeah, that usually hurts.
Not hard enough. So that caused a lot of it. All I would say is you have to determine what sort of sport. Football does a great job of moving the goalposts all the time. It drives some people mad, but they determine, well, we don't like our sport, and so if you do this to a quarterback, you are going to get penalized. So it's just if baseball sees something and they don't like the direction, go for it. Change things up. Right now, it's not.
No, I agree. What'd you think of the new Jackson Merrill contract? 9 years, 135, I think it was. And
awesome.
Could get some extra. You like that contract?
It's great. Are you
for
kidding
him?
me? For the Padres.
No, for the Padres, obviously, it's a great contract.
They just locked up a 21-year-old, and he's a stud, man. He learned center field at the major league level. That's freaking awesome to do what he did, and he's become a really good defender. But in this lineup, he's. They'll talk about Tatis. They'll talk about Luis Ariz and how he handles the bat. And they'll talk about Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts getting paid $280+ million. And, here comes Jackson Merrill. He is a bad kid. Like, you could tell even day one of this year, of year two, that he means business because he stepped in against the reigning Cy Young Award winner and Chris Sale, who is as nasty a lefty on lefty at bat as you've got. And he gave great at-bats against him. So he's 21. He won't turn 22 for another couple weeks. Good to be him, and great to be the Padres, who played this masterfully, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you feel like it hit me, and I don't know if you thought about the juxtaposition between Jackson Merrill signing that deal and Acuna and Albies signing that deal? Because I remember when they signed their deal, there was this huge backlash of how the Braves took advantage of Acuna and took advantage of Albies, and they signed into these deals that they could have been worth a lot more. And I'm like, well, these guys are grown men. I mean, I know, they come from a different country. They have agents, though, and they decided, hey, this is good for me. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to sign. But I just remember a lot of backlash about thinking the Braves took advantage of them and signing into this deal. It's still too early maybe for the Merrill deal to think, well, they're not going to say they took advantage of Merrill, but did that hit you at all? That like it's the sentiment seems a little different in this signing than it was with those two with the Braves?
Well, yeah, I called it on our Baseball Today podcast. I do. It's a daily with former Major Leaguer Trevor Plouffe. And I did call it it's the Padres version of a Ronald Acuna deal, right? And yet for years I have said that, I mean, the day Ronald Acuna signed that, I say he's going to blow past this. I don't know if it's going to be a year from now or 2 years from now or whatever. He has way blown past it. He's making $17 million a year.
Yeah.
Ronald Acuna is not a $17 million a year ball player.
Of course not.
Now, his health issues are whatever they are. And that's why you sign this sort of contract, just to make sure, God forbid, you can't come back and be the player that you once were. That then by the time you reach free agency, you're not like, oh my God, do I have to go on a 1 year or 2 year prove it deal? Well, he would never have had to do that anyway because his talent is astronomical. But you look at Ozzie Albies, 7 years, $35 million for this guy who's a switch hitter with pop in the middle of your lineup that can run and play second base. Like, yeah, that's one of those where. But once again, I can't tell you. I didn't grow up. I grew up here in the States. It is different.
Yeah.
It is totally different. And so, but Jackson Merrill, 21, and they're going to offer you $135 million guaranteed with the possibility of taking it over $200 million.
Yeah.
And you're still going to be a free agent before you're 30. Sign me up.
Yeah. Is the Dodger roster the greatest roster that we've seen in the last 40, 50 years? And for me, Chris, it's not the lineup, because hell, the Indians back in the 90s had a lineup that could stack up with the Dodger lineup, if not surpass it. Early 2000 Red Sox and Yankees had an incredible lineup. I could go back to the Big Red Machine of the 70s. I mean, they were great lineups, but the pitching is what takes it over the top. It's like having basically four aces and a 2, or 3 1s and 2, whatever you want to say. I mean, it's just every single day if they stay healthy, and then the back end of the bullpen is filthy. Like I don't think I've ever seen the lineup with the starting pitching with the relief pitching in my lifetime of this type of roster. I mean, this roster is just incredibly jam-packed.
Yeah, I can't remember it because it's the depth. It's their next 5 in a rotation is better than half the league's first 5.
Yeah.
If not more so than that. Could be even better than top half. Because of this new show that I've been doing, I've been spending a lot of time at Dodger Stadium. I'll interview the other team that's in. So in a 3-day span, I was interviewing Detroit Tigers and Atlanta Braves. Saturday, I got to sit and watch Clayton Kershaw throw a simulated game, a live BP, essentially. Monday, I then watched Evan Phillips, who's one of their top relievers and throws a bazillion miles an hour, throw one. Tony Gonsolin is going to be doing it again in the near future. Brusdar Graterol, who knows if he's coming back at all. But it's just a number of arms. And the Dodgers' regular season for them is twofold. Do they care about trying to press the all-time win total of 116 in a season? They say they don't care, but you never know. And number 2, it's all about finding the 26 best and healthiest players by the time we get to October. Essentially, it's a 6-month audition against the other guys in the dugout. That's what it is, because there's 35 guys that can legitimately play on their 40-man roster. It's incredible.
Well, who says they have to care to get to 117 wins? They might not care and still get to 117 wins. I can't wait for the I-5 World Series. Let's go. Dodgers, Angels. All right, let's get to the Giants. I just want to get your thoughts on the Giants, which may be, one of the toughest divisions in baseball. I'd say the American League East is going to be pretty stacked this year, and that one's going to be a juggernaut. But if the Giants are better than they were last year, the D-backs fortified not only their rotation but their team in the offseason. Padres off to a great start. We know their rotation, and then the Dodgers we just talked about. But that's going to be a hell of a division. Where do you think the Dodgers are in that division, or kind of land in the division?
You mean the Giants?
The Giants. I'm sorry, I said Dodgers. My bad.
Right. So at the beginning of the season, I think on our opening day show, we wondered whether or not the Giants could surpass the Padres as the third best team, because I actually have Arizona as 2.
Okay.
I think they're pretty talented. I really
I agree.
The Giants, I don't hate what they've done at all. I thought the Verlander move was pretty smart. I'm a huge Willy Adames guy. Are his numbers going to go down in that ballpark? Most likely, yes. I think so. Will the contract age great? Probably not. But he's also a dude who, it's more than just punching in his numbers. He's such a happy-go-lucky dude, and I really think that means something in a 162-game schedule.
Agree.
I really believe it. And, it's a long year, and guys go in 1 for 21 ruts, and if you're the same dude that has great energy every day, that's a big deal. So it wouldn't shock me to see them fight it out for a wild card. It wouldn't. I think that they can hang with those teams. Now you've got the Braves are going to get this thing straightened out at some point. It's ugly right now, but they will get it straightened out. I don't know if there's more than one team in the Central that can make it. I like the Cubs personally. I'm a little worried about the Brewers this year. They've lost so much good talent over the last 2 years that I think this is the year it catches up with them. I think Cincinnati is a team to watch, even though they're off to a slow start. But in the East, you've got 3 teams in the Braves, Mets, and Phillies that are legit dogs.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight this out. And then I think 3, 4 in the West. So somebody's getting bounced. And 2 teams might even get bounced, possibly, depending how that NL East gets going.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the way I looked at it to start the year, I said Phillies, Braves, Dodgers, and then the rest of the spots you can battle for the rest of the spots. But I think those, to me, on paper, if they're healthy, are the three best teams. And the Dodgers are really the only team that doesn't have like a weakness right now. But I think the Phillies, it's going to be a fun series this weekend when they play the Dodgers. And then the Braves, I agree with you. They'll figure it out, and they're going to be back up there as well. So, I mean, Mets, D-backs, Padres, Giants, I mean, Cubs. I mean, and there's always this. That's one thing about baseball that I love, too. There's always a surprise team that's there that you didn't expect, and they hang in there. Maybe not the whole season, but they gave you a good run for their money. So that'll be fun. And then the American League's a little different, where they don't have that top heaviness that the National League does. I mean, you have the Angels, of course, but other than that, I'm not really sure who you would look at. The Yankees, Royals.
Yeah, it's why so many people pick the Yankees this year, is that there weren't monumental moves made by teams in the American League outside of Boston making the trade for Crochet and bringing in Bregman. I just didn't think these other teams did well enough. Some people say Toronto. I felt a little bit. I don't know. I think that there's a bad mix up there, not bad guys. I just think for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out in recent years. I think the Central's going to be interesting because I think you could have 4 teams that could win it. I don't think any of them are great. I think probably the winner of that division gets 86 wins. So,
yeah,
that's that.
All right, let me switch to the NFL and get your thoughts.
Let's do it.
Your thoughts on Brock Purdy, because I think it's so funny that the number that he's about to sign for shocks people, because they still can't get over the fact he's a 7th rounder. They still can't let that go, even though that was like 3 years ago, and he's already proven what he can do in the NFL. People still expect the bubble to burst for whatever reason. It's just like when you're a number 1 overall pick, you get more chances than everybody else, even though maybe you've proven you can't play. People are like, well, they drafted him that high for a reason. I think it works in reverse for a guy like Purdy. And really, it's all about the percentage of the salary cap anyway. It's not about the raw number. It's about what percentage of the salary cap you're taking up. But how do you see this thing working itself out? Like, I don't know what he's going to get. I don't know if the Josh Allen signing has any effect on it. Like, okay, we're not going over Josh Allen. We're not. I don't know how it's going to work itself out. I think it will. But what do you think about the whole thing? And still, people out there saying, I don't know what there is not to know about Brock Purdy at this point.
Well,
I sense bad news coming.
No, it's not bad news, because he's a great story. I mean, who doesn't? He was the last freaking pick of the draft, and he's proven to be a franchise-ish quarterback. And I hate throwing ISH.
Yeah, what the ish mean? What's the ish for?
The ish is, if you could have your choice, Joe Burrow or Brock Purdy, who are you taking?
Joe Burrow.
If you could take Josh Allen,
or Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. So the problem is this sport has not separated its tiers well enough. And so now the choice is, well, because Brock Purdy's up, now we have to pay him like Joe Burrow. And I think that's a way to get in trouble. It just is. Here's what I would say. If Brock Purdy had been a free agent in March of this past year, available to anybody, with all these teams that need quarterbacks, Cleveland, the Giants, Pittsburgh, who's the best of all the teams that needs quarterbacks, the Jets before they went and got Justin Fields, the Raiders before they traded for Geno, the Seahawks would have had Geno at that point. So all those teams that need quarterbacks, do we think that Brock Purdy would he have gotten $65 million a year? Are we sure about that?
I don't know if we're sure about anything. I don't think he's going to get 65 with the Niners, but I don't know.
I don't know either. So that's my point.
That seems like an awfully rich number, but yeah.
I would be okay with him if I were a Niners fan. I would say this. sign him up for $40 million a year. Does he say no to $40 million a year?
Yes. I think it's starting with a 5.
Okay, but that's my question.
It's going to start with a 5.
If it starts with a 5, if you're the Steelers, do you think that he's the missing piece?
I don't know.
Like, I would put Cleveland in a different situation because offensively they're not nearly as talented as some other teams. The Giants do have some pieces. They've got decent parts on their offensive line, including a stud left tackle if he can stay healthy. They've got a great number 1 receiver as long as he can keep his head screwed on.
Yeah, Neighbors is
awesome. They've got a good enough running back where if they felt like they had to upgrade somewhere down the line, they could do that. But are we sure that Brock Purdy goes into those situations and turns them for whatever they are into a Super Bowl team?
Well, I'll answer it this way. We mentioned the 4. Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 4. We're sure we could put them anywhere and they could turn it around. They're good to go. The other guy I would put kind of in a separate category is Stafford because he's a little bit older, but I still think Stafford's ahead of like Purdy too. Like for one season, I think Stafford's incredible.
Yeah, but he's a different category. We're talking strictly about guys in their 20s.
But okay. So what's Hurts making? What's Love making? What are all those guys making? Because to me, Purdy is right there with all those guys. That's like the next group. And if you're going to tell me that now I put him behind Trevor Lawrence or Dak Prescott or Love or Hurts or Herbert, you could put him in there too. Like to me, Purdy's a part of that group. And it's not so much what they make now, it's what they sign for. And that's why I go to the percentage of the salary cap. Like what percentage of the salary cap did you sign for at the time you signed? Because you know how it is. I mean, things just keep escalating and, he may sign. I mean, Garoppolo was the highest paid quarterback for like a couple seconds. And all of a sudden he was like 15th highest paid quarterback.
Right. But it wasn't even, I think if I remember correctly, the Jimmy G stuff, I know obviously the salary cap was significantly lower, but it didn't feel like it was that much of a percentage. We'd have to go back and look at it. But
yeah, we'd have to. It was like 100 and it was like 27 a year or something like that for 5 years.
So you're asking Dak right now is the highest per year,
correct.
I believe.
Yes.
At 60. Then Burrow, Allen, Love, Lawrence are all at 55.
Okay.
And 2 of those have question marks next to him, right? I like Jordan Love, but he took I wouldn't say a step back last year. He just didn't take a step forward. Trevor Lawrence has not been good yet.
No.
Tua has been fine when he stayed on the field, but go win me a playoff game at some point. Jared Goff, I think, has really found a nice. Now he's at 53. He and Tua are both at 53. Herbert, some people are like, well, I've got to put him in that group that we talked about earlier. He's not in that group for me. He's pretty impressive, but he's not in that group for me. He's at 52. Hurts is at 51, and then you dip down to Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson, who are at 46. So, like, that's where I would put Purdy. Okay, I would put him behind because some of these teams were forced. The Dolphins had to make a move on Tua. They had to decide we're either gonna cut him loose, or we're going to franchise him, or we're going to give him the big deal here. One of those 3, and they ended up giving him the big deal. And you know what? If they don't make the playoffs this year, that regime's going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
That regime's going to be in trouble. You're still going to be stuck with Tua, who's going to be now in his late 20s. And we're like, they're good. They're good. Do we need a quarter? Yeah. So with Brock Purdy, all I'm saying is that I would love to get him on our number if I'm the Niners, which I'd be comfortable with in the mid-40s. Get to the mid-50s. I don't know, man. You got to see that's right. Areas they got to shore up.
No, I totally agree with you on that. But I would be comfortable in the mid-50s just because the salary cap is going up and up and up. And again, I don't think the percentage of the salary cap is going to be as big as some of the other quarterbacks we talked about when they signed those deals. And I just hate the fact that he got dinged because of all the weapons he's had. Well, he has Shanahan and he has the weapons. And I keep saying, well, why didn't Kurt Warner get dinged for having Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and Marshall Faulk? Why didn't Peyton Manning get dinged for having Pro Bowl wide receivers, or 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers, a damn near Hall of Fame running back, and a great tight end in Dallas Clark. Well, because Kurt Warner looked the part. He was big arm and everything. And then Peyton, of course, was the number 1 pick overall, and they expected that from him. But it's just something about Purdy that people aren't willing to. I just feel like they're trying to find reasons for why he's as good as he is, because he can't possibly be that good being the last overall pick. So and look,
okay,
we both
Tommy,
know this. Yeah.
Tommy, you're having a draft of a quarterback draft right now.
Yep.
Of the 32 guys who will start week 1 next year. When does Brock Purdy get taken?
Somewhere between 6 and 10.
Oh, no way. He's not going to be 6. No way.
Are you asking me if I'm drafting?
Okay, we've already mentioned a handful. So
you asking me if I'm drafting or where I think he would go?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
If you're asking me if I'm drafting him somewhere between 6 and 10.
Okay, so we've already knocked out Burrow, Allen, Lamar, Mahomes. Those are the top 4. You take him before Jalen? Okay, then that's your 5th. Do you take him before or after Jalen Hurts?
Before.
You take him before Jalen Hurts?
Before.
Okay.
So I need to BEFORE. Yeah, before. Yeah, I'll take him before. Give me another one.
Do you take him before Dak Prescott?
Oh, before.
Wow, I think Dak's a pretty good quarterback without anything. Yes. He hasn't had anything down there.
No, I don't think Dak's bad. I would just absolutely take him before. You're going to keep asking. Love, I would take him before. Goff, I would take him before. The only one I'm hesitant on is Herbert. Herbert, I really like. I mean, and he hasn't even won a playoff game. He was awful against the Texans last year in the playoffs. But I do like Herbert. I do think Herbert's pretty damn good, and he's going to win something one of these days, especially with Harbaugh being the coach. Yeah.
Would you take him ahead of Jaden Daniels?
That's a tricky one, because I hate. Like 1 year to me, I'd love to see one more year.
Yeah.
Because way too many times do I look at somebody and go, I don't know. And then the next year, you're like, oh, that guy's pretty good. And then you're like, oh, he's really good. He's not as good as I thought he was going to be. So that's a tough one, though, because Jaden Daniels he was special last year. I mean, really, really special.
He was great.
So
I'll tell you who else I wouldn't. I would take Drake May ahead of him. I think Drake May is going to be. I'm serious. Yep.
That's enough.
Wait, Tommy.
That's enough. Drake May.
I am not believe me, I am not a Patriots guy. I saw that guy twice. I called 2 of his games last year. He's going to be a stud. He's going to be.
Purdy already is a stud. See, you're part of the naysayers. I wore you down.
No, I'm not part of the naysayers. I am part of the group that says, here's what I would pay him. And if not, then we got to move on.
Okay.
But I think
it's so hard to find a quarterback.
I know it is. But you know why? That's because people settle for decent. Like I said, like the Dolphins had a ton of talent. They have not won a freaking playoff game.
No.
You know, like everything's got to be perfect with them. Everything's got to be perfect. There can't be a little hole in the wall with them. You know, the house has got to be absolutely perfect. You know how all sorts of shit falls apart in your house, right?
Yeah.
Time?
Yep.
You can't buy one of those. Not with this franchise. Everything's got to be perfect. What else we got, Tommy?
That's hysterical. Finally, I mean, we don't get to spend a lot of time on this, but I was happy to see finally the NFL is going to use Hawkeye for first downs. I mean, hasn't this been a long time in the making? Like, we don't have to have Gene Steratore come out with the index card to make sure we're not touching. I mean, that was a great moment in history, of course. But aren't we glad we got to Hawkeye now? We can. I don't know if they're going to be able to see through the bodies per se,
right?
But at least it feels like we're making progress.
Yeah, there's a few things that it feels like we could look and see. If we could make technological improvements in that world, right? The chip in the football, like whether or not it's the goal line, so we don't have to imagine the goal line going up to wherever in outer space the goal line actually ends vertically. But the owners' meetings, I will say this: the owners' meetings in the NFL are uber entertaining because they are constantly changing stuff, constantly. So
you got to be happy. Deshaun Watson's got to be may have played his last game for the Browns. That has to make you feel good.
I am. Listen, I do preseason. I do the preseason games.
I know you do.
TV
you do a very nice job at it as well.
And it has. I appreciate that. It has been a challenge because you could say whatever you want about the Browns when they made the trade. Like you could say, "Well, why are you doing that? It's horrible." Let's not let the Houston Texans off the hook. Like they were, whatever did or did not happen with Deshaun Watson off the field, the Texans don't come out of this scot-free. So for people who are like, yeah, I'm rooting for the Texans, let's just slow our roll a little bit on that part. The other part of the equation is nobody thought when they traded for Deshaun Watson that the football part would be something that the Browns would have to worry about. Nobody. Because if you dial it back to 2020, even when the Texans, I think, were 4-12, he was still a good ascending quarterback in his mid-20s. Whatever happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about the football side of things here. It was atrocious. It looked like he had never played football. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what transpired. The Browns scrapped their offense, in which in 2023 they made the playoffs when they started 5 different quarterbacks, including a dude who was 40 years old throwing to his old man when he was sleeping on his brother's couch or something. Like, and so when Deshaun Watson comes back, they're like, okay, well, now he's back. So I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, you're gonna be happy when he's
But
gone.
I do want to say one last thing about the Browns quarterback situation. Everybody who says, well, they had Baker right in their backyard, they screwed that one up. Baker Mayfield would not be the player he is today if he hadn't been traded to Carolina, then released and gone to the Rams.
I agree.
He needed to go through all of that stuff in order to become the player he is. I'm just saying it.
I agree.
The guy who watched every single one of his Brown snaps, they could have won games with him. I think they felt like they could have competed for championships with Deshaun Watson. I know it sounds ridiculous right now, but if you hit the way back button, it's not as crazy as it sounds.
No, I agree. And I have nothing personal against the Browns. They just employed Deshaun Watson. So wherever Deshaun Watson goes, that's who I root against. Doesn't matter. You can go to Houston.
Hey, I get it. Listen, every team, Tommy, you played with great guys in your career. You played against great guys in your career. You played against guys you wouldn't want within a mile of your house.
What do you mean? I played with guys I wouldn't want within a mile of my house.
Yes.
You kidding me?
Right. And so that's, people are always like, well, how can you root for him? Well, listen, I have been, and a lot of your listeners have been fans of a certain team way longer than when certain people you don't like or agree with. If that's how you're going to judge your rooting interest based on, then you're not going to root for any team.
No, but
I guarantee it. You won't like who they are, what they do, what their political opinions are about, how they treat people. And like I said, most of them are wonderful, but you're not going to agree with every. Just like when you go out to a restaurant, do you check the background of every ownership group of a restaurant? Do you check the background of every musician when you go see a concert? Do you check the background of every actor when you go watch something? If you stream something at home? No, you want to be entertained. I want to be entertained. I want to root for my team. Yeah,
I check on everybody. Yeah, I check on everybody.
You now,
I'm very conscientious when it comes to that stuff.
If they check your background,
hey, trust me. The people are pretty happy out in the Bay Area when Nick Bosa gets a sack, regardless whether he wears a MAGA hat or not.
Right.
They don't give a shit. It's like, go get him, Nick. I don't care.
And you shouldn't care.
You shouldn't care. That's my whole. I keep telling people. I go, if you're a sports fan, you wouldn't watch sports if you knew half your team and what they rooted for and what they did and what they believed in. I go, and you shouldn't have to care, unless it's criminal. If it's criminal, then go ahead and care about that kind of stuff. But other than that, just root for your team.
But
just root for your
team.
When
we deal with the criminals, because there are, just like there are podcasters who have shitty backgrounds.
Yep.
There are all sorts of people in every profession that have bad stuff, okay?
Yeah.
We get that. Ultimately, it's the owner's decision. They are the people who come up with, like, you can't get signed if you've got a crappy background unless somebody signs off on it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's how you have to decide how you're going to run your business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody just brought up that I don't like Girl Scouts, so I mean that could be a red.
You don't
flag
like Girl
for some
Scouts or
people.
Girl Scout cookies?
No, Girl Scouts, because they sell Girl Scout cookies. They're like little terrorists out there making me buy cookies, and then I go to Safeway and they make me buy them again. They make me feel guilty for buying them. I was like, well, no, I don't want your damn cookies. I just buy your cookies. I don't want cookies.
We're done.
So no, we're not done. All right, let me ask you about the real quick. 1 to 10, 10 being pretty damn confident, 1 not so much. Where the Cavs going to end up this year? They have enough to get by the Celtics? Because I think they do. I think the Cavs are pretty damn good.
Yeah, the Cavs are good.
Yeah, they're really good.
So
and the DeAndre Hunter signing was really nice. That was a great trade.
Yeah, it was a good trade. For people that haven't watched the Cavs much this year, they are a really fluid offensive team. They're not what the Warriors were a couple years ago. They're a little bit different, but they really have a nice ability. The question mark coming into this year with the Cavs was twofold. A, is their starting backcourt too small when they get to the playoffs? And last I checked, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland have not grown since last year. And the other question was their front court too big? And what I mean by that is, can you play Jared Allen and Evan Mobley together in crunch time of a playoff game when neither of them can really stretch the floor? And those are
I don't know, Chris. I think Mobley can stretch the floor plenty.
He's gotten better.
He's not a dead-eye three-point shooter, but he's adequate. You can't just leave him.
I know. Well, but they're going to. And Tom, that's the thing. He has improved significantly. He is now not afraid, but shooting the ball on January 27th against, the Utah Jazz in a game where 1 of 82 is way different than in game 4 of the Eastern Conference semis against the New York Knicks with the entire world watching.
Yeah.
So,
there's no doubt.
Those are the questions. So you're asking me 1 to 10? I'll put it in the middle because they're talented enough to win it.
Yeah.
It's just, there are legitimate questions, and it doesn't mean I'm such a hater. And I love my team. I think they are so easy to root for. Such a likable group of guys. They're fun. They get along great. You don't hear crap about them. They're all dudes. They play hard, the whole bit. It's just they have to show this. That's all.
And coaches are really good guys and a great job there. Kenny Atkinson has done a fantastic job. All right, a couple quick questions and we'll let you get on out of here. What was the one meal your mom made that you couldn't wait to get to the dinner table to eat?
She made an amazing chicken. It was kind of a breaded chicken that she cooked on tin foil. And so we would eat the chicken. The chicken was great. But all of the breading that got stuck to the tin foil, my brother and I would fight it out. Like, I would get up from the dinner table early, and he would give me this look like this. And I'd be like, no, I'm done with dinner. And everybody knew exactly what I was doing. So I was peeling the crust off of the tin foil, and I barely saved him. And
okay, what's the one thing your mom made that you didn't want to come to the dinner table for?
My mom was she was a wonderful cook. She really was. There had to have been something that was.
Yeah, mine was meatloaf.
She used to make liver.
What?
She made liver.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had liver.
She did. She made liver. And I was like, but you got to remember, my parents were old when they had me. I'm old right now. They were old when they had me. My parents were born in 1928.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, they've been gone.
Wow.
My mom's been gone 17 years. My dad, 13. So they were born in the Great Depression.
Yeah. Liver.
I think that was a big thing back then.
Okay. I think you're probably right. Okay. What did you get? What's the most trouble you got into as a kid?
Oh, it's great.
What did you do? And what punishment did you receive?
So I was great as a teenager. I was a dick before then. I got the Browns' first playoff game when I was like in my formative years was January of 1981 against the eventual champion Oakland Raiders. It was one of the coldest games ever in playoff history. Late Mike Davis, picked off the Brian Sipe in the end zone to preserve.
Yep, I remember that.
14-12 Oakland win. You can check me on it. I was supposed to go to the game, and I couldn't. I was grounded because, do you remember the little toy Playmobiles? Do you remember Playmobiles? They were like these little plastic figures. They bent at the waist. Go look them up. Go Google them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about now. I know what you're talking about.
I took them in our garage, and I spray painted them all black on our stairs. And then I went
on your stairs?
Yes, on our stairs.
Oh, no.
Our cement stairs. And then I went and flushed them down the toilet. So, A, I ruined the stairs, and B, I ruined the plumbing.
What?
So,
what was the goal there? Like, what were you?
Yeah,
Did you have a goal? Did you have a plan?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just happy I didn't turn into a serial killer. Like, that's what it sounds like those people would do.
Oh, speaking of serial killers, it's funny you brought that up. So, Chris is like, why would you say that? Because we have a March Madness style bracket featuring serial killers. We're down to the Fiendish Four right now.
Hey, listen, come on. This better be chalk because this better be chalk.
Zodiac took down Jeffrey Dahmer, believe it or not.
No, okay, stop. I have to stop right there. I covered Jeffrey Dahmer's first murder. Okay. It happened in Northeast Ohio in a place called Bath, Ohio, which is an affluent suburb not far from Akron.
Yep.
And, when they discovered all the bodies in Milwaukee, they were like, we need to go back and check his parents' place. So I was interning at a radio station in that summer, and they were like, hey, there's a bunch of scuttlebutt going on at Dahmer's family house. Drive out there. And so I went out there with my little tape recorder, and people are running out of the house. There's all these huge satellite trucks parked like a mile away. And we go, they found another bone. And I was like,
oh my God.
Can I just go cover sports for a living?
Wow.
Yeah. So
how old were you?
I was 20.
Oh my gosh.
I was 20 or 21, whatever it was.
I'm with you, but look, Zodiac's a hometown kid here in the Bay Area. So that's why he won. So we just decided, I've always wanted to do this bracket for like 20 years, and I finally got around to doing it because you know what? Who's going to be mad at me now? No one cares. Hey, I just do my own stuff. So there we go. So
I bet you didn't have this on your bingo card that your guest today could actually add something.
I did not. Like, it went from you wondering why you saying serial killer resonated with me, and then you tagged it with a story about somebody who just got eliminated. I mean, it's like you put a bow on it. I mean, that's it. You're right. That is it. I couldn't have imagined that's where it would end, and neither could you.
That's pro. That's where we go.
By the way, I got to get a Reno Aces hat. That's the hat Chris has on right there. It's a drink. It's a cocktail on the. I mean, how great are minor league baseball hats? They're the best.
Holding a torpedo bat, by the way. Holding a torpedo.
Holding a torpedo bat. Let everybody know. I know you do the NFL Network, but let everybody know the name of the podcast again because I screwed it up already. I don't want to screw it up again.
We changed the name. It's called Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. You can find it on our JM Baseball YouTube page, or just follow me on social media. I'm always retweeting stuff out at Chris Rose. I know it's very original. Nobody wanted it. And then I do a daily baseball podcast called Baseball Today with former Major Leaguer Trevor Plouffe. It's quick. It's 35 minutes. We cover a handful of topics every Monday through Friday.
Really good stuff.
Thank you. So we do that. We have fun. And with John Boy Media and our Warehouse Games, which is our content creation palace. So it's always fun.
No, it's awesome. You still do BattleBots, don't you?
We haven't done BattleBots in a few years. We got killed by the writers' strike, which is
really.
They do have a live show, which is awesome for people out in Las Vegas. So I recommend going to see that. That's with the co-creators of BattleBots. They've done a nice job with that. But as far as bringing it back, so that we can enjoy it on TV or streaming service. We'll keep our fingers crossed that maybe one day somebody wises up and does that, because it was a blast.
Yeah, because I've always thought the writing was an integral part of BattleBots. They're just fucking bots bashing into each other. What kind of writing you need? It's not Lord of the Rings.
Hey, man, that's why they hire you. So you could say, I am the Gus Johnson of BattleBots. I just screamed my head off for 3 minutes.
Oh! Oh, my God. My Angel's still leading, by the way?
Tommy.
No, things have
gone bad. In the hour and 47 minutes I have been on here, or it just feels that long, it's now tied at 5. But
okay,
the Cardinals have the bases loaded and nobody out in the 8th, so it's not ideal right now.
That is not ideal. Thanks for the good news, though. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the time as always, and hopefully get a chance to talk from time to time. But I always appreciate your stuff, and I appreciate you joining the show.
You know I'll do it anytime for you, Tommy. Lose my number. All right. Thank you for having me on.
See you, Chris. Have a good day.
See you, bud.
Chris Rose, everybody. He is absolutely one of the best. And I did look over my shoulder here for a second. The fucking bunny was inside. Yeah. The bunny's supposed to be outside. I don't know. Is the bunny still inside? Do we know? Or the bunny just hop out there? We might have to find out where that bunny is, because I can't go looking for the bunny like the whole day. And so and get that I might have to take a 2-minute break and get the bunny back outside and shut the damn door. I looked over my shoulder. I was like, oh, the bunny, I forgot to shut the door. I forgot to shut the door, because I leave the door open for the cats to come in and out. And then Lou, if Lou wants to come in and out, but I guess the bunny took advantage. Bunny says, hey, I can go in and out. And then the bunny goes upstairs, and I never know. I mean, Bunny could have found her way back outside, actually. The bunny could have found her way outside. Oh, the bunny's right there. You can go just set her outside and shut the screen door. Thank you, Ogden. Ogden got the bunny. The bunny's going back outside, so all is safe. A couple of things I wanted to get to before we wrap it up. And Kevin Francis is going to join us tomorrow, by the way. We do want to show, pop up the serial killers bracket again, because here we are. We're at the Fiendish 4. Obviously a massive, massive upset. Not as big an upset as actually having a guest on that covered Jeffrey Dahmer's first murder. That was the biggest upset of the day. Yeah, who could have even? I mean, you can't write this stuff. You just can't. I had no idea about that, but I guess it makes sense. He grew up in that neck of the woods, so to speak. But I mean, everything that held serve, like Ted Bundy, hammered BTK, Berkowitz got just manhandled by Ramirez, Gacy over Kemper. But Zodiac look at that, 3 votes. Zodiac took down Dahmer, 192 to 189. So that is our first true upset of the tournament. I mean, that was the number 1 seed, Dahmer going down. I was like, Maryland, Baltimore County beating Virginia, and Zodiac playing the part of the Terriers, I believe their nickname is. So Zodiac moves on to take on Gacy. I can't imagine Zodiac's winning this, but who knows? Already took down a number 1 seed, could be riding a hot hand. And Zodiac, with support of the hometown fans, who knows? Takes on John Wayne Gacy, and then Richard Ramirez, a 2 and the 3 in the lower half of the bracket. So go ahead and vote. We got it on YouTube and on Twitter. If you want to vote, Zodiac versus John Wayne Gacy, and then Richard Ramirez, Ted Bundy. We'll do that through next week, and then next week we will do the finale. But how that's just wild that Chris put a bow on that whole thing. Because I wasn't even going to bring it up until I said serial killer. And I go, well, now that you bring that up. And he looked at me like, what do you mean now that you bring that up? Why would you have something in your pocket ready to go for when I bring up serial killers? Because who's ever going to think I'm thinking of serial killers? So that was actually pretty funny. And Kevin Francis is going to join us. But I didn't want to say Kevin Francis is going to join us tomorrow. But vote on this. We had almost 400 votes, Dahmer Zodiac. So it'd be sweet if we get around 500 votes for Zodiac, John Wayne Gacy, and then see if we can get the equal for Ramirez and Bundy. We're getting down to the big boys now. We're getting down to the top seeds, except for the number 1 seed. So Zodiac, John Wayne Gacy. You got the Killer Clown versus Zodiac, and then the Night Stalker versus Bundy. I mean, Bundy Bundy didn't have a nickname. I don't even remember Bundy's nickname. Bundy had a nickname. I mean, a lot of these guys had nicknames. I know Dahmer's was like when you're really bad, you don't even need a nickname. It's like, yeah, I know that guy, Jeffrey Dahmer. I know it was like the Milwaukee Cannibal or something like that, which is pretty awful nickname. Pretty awful. But somebody pointed out on Twitter that like nobody knows who Dennis Rader is. They know him as BTK, right? I mean, you know who he is, but everyone knows who Bundy is, and everybody knows who Dahmer is. So anyway, vote early, vote often, and we will have a winner for you, or a loser, however you want to put it. Real quick, couple things. Last night Steph was wow. I mean, Steph at 37 still just doing those type of things. 12 threes, 52 points, just kind of carrying the team on his back. Although, you know, Draymond was incredible and Jimmy Butler was incredible, and they just played a really, really good game. I mean, that was a big one. But I don't know that it really matters per se, because I still would like to see them get 7 if they could. But the risk with 7 is if you lose one game, you're 8, and then you don't want to face OKC. But I still think they match up against Houston better than the rest of the teams. Although there's something going on in Memphis. I mean, you're going to fire Taylor Jenkins like 10 games before the regular season ends? That's just, and I don't know. Was it Ja? Was it not Ja? I don't know. I mean, it's just, you don't see that. That's very NHL-like. NHL does that all the time, fire coaches before the playoffs, relatively speaking to other leagues. There's nobody who does that, especially when you're like a top 4 or 5 seed. But the hockey doesn't even surprise me anymore. Like, oh, so-and-so got fired 2 weeks left to go in the season. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you see the standings right here. So they're probably not going to catch the Nuggets, 2.5 games behind the Nuggets, although they play the Nuggets Friday. They also play Lakers Thursday. And then they got the Rockets next week. So they're not getting the Rockets. Okay, that's the one team I feel confident that they're not going to get. But again, who knows? And the Rockets don't have an easy schedule, but they already have 49 wins. And the Warriors have 44, and they have 7 games to play. So all the Rockets need is 3 wins to get to 52, and then the Warriors can't touch them. But they could get the Nuggets. They could get any of those teams except for the Thunder. And by the way, the Thunder is 7 wins away from 70. I don't know if they're going to get there. I don't know if they care to get there. They might be deep enough to get there anyway, because if they don't rest everybody, they have 10, 11 guys that could play. But Lakers, they can move to within a game of the Lakers tomorrow if they win. Now they're going to have to jump the Lakers because the Lakers have the tiebreaker on them. I think the Nuggets have the tiebreaker on them too. They have the tiebreaker on the Grizzlies and the T-Wolves. They do not have the tiebreaker, however, on the Clippers, who are only a game behind the Warriors, and you would think they're going to be a half game behind the Warriors after tonight because the Clippers play the Pelicans. So, I mean, there's still a lot in flux here. There's a lot going on. About the only thing you know is 9 and 10 are between 3 teams: Phoenix, Sacramento, Dallas. Neither of those teams moving up. And then the rest of it is 2 through 8 is kind of in flux. I mean, maybe Houston can get caught maybe by the Nuggets, maybe by the Lakers, I guess by the Warriors, possibly, but probably not. But, I mean, the Warriors could get 3, maybe. They're 2.5 behind the Nuggets. They could be 1.5 behind, although they don't have the tiebreaker. So, anyway, it's wild. They've been playing great ball, and then Steph doing what Steph is doing, and the Jimmy Butler effect. And I wasn't that high on getting Jimmy Butler. Well, I don't know exactly what I said, but I'm sure I was wrong in that Jimmy Butler's been exactly what this team needs. I should never overestimate just IQ, like what someone who knows how to win and knows how to play can bring to a team, especially a veteran team. And Butler's brought that to this team. He's been fantastic. He's literally been everything they were missing, kind of wrapped up in one guy. So goes down with looked like maybe an ankle injury last night, just shrugged it off. It's like, okay, I'm okay. All right, let's get back to it. So he's been so good for them. And then they win, so the 52 points is like means a little bit more, right? Well, Jokic got 61, 10, and 10 last night. I think the third person, along with Harden and Luka, to get a 60-point triple-double. I mean, a 60-point triple-double. It's just insane. And they didn't have Murray last night, didn't have Porter Jr. last night. So they were a little shorthanded playing the Wolves. And if you're a Warrior fan, it would have been nice if the Nuggets would have won. You just keep the T-Wolves at bay for as long as you can. But they won last night by 1 point. What a tough last 10 seconds for Russell Westbrook. You clank a layup with about 12 seconds left. I mean, clanked a layup. Flat out clanked it. And he didn't have to shoot it. I would have, because you just figure he's going to make it. You're going to go up 3 because they're only up 1 at the point. And he could have dribbled back out and forced the T-Wolves to foul him or foul somebody else. But if you got an easy layup, you take the layup, right? Because you don't know if you're going to make both free throws. Well, he misses the layup. Then he sulks for about 2 seconds like, oh, man. Minnesota runs it up the court. Get it to Nickeil Walker-Alexander in the corner. I think it was Westbrook's guy. He was late closing out. Maybe because he was sulking. Closes out and fouls him. He can't do that. I mean, you got to run to the side and make him make that shot. Fouls him, makes 2 free throws. Game's over. Thanks for coming. What up, Pip? How you doing in the show? There's Pip. Pip hasn't joined the show very much, but Pip likes joining the show, don't you? Should we show everybody Pip? Say what's up. Huh. It's a good girl. So the Nuggets, that was a rough one. Like I said, that was a rough one for Russell Westbrook, the last 10 seconds. But we'll know a lot from a Warriors standpoint by about next Wednesday, kind of where they're going to be. And I don't know that it matters that much. 6, 5. 4 would be nice just because you have home court. That would be nice. The only thing about 4 or 5 is if you win the first round, you got to go up against OKC. They're the best team. Pip's gonna be like, hey, let's step on the computer here and see how that works out. Pip, don't step on the computer. Okay, come back here. There you go. Pip's like, I don't know. That computer looks pretty sick. Let me step on it. Is that a new computer? Let me step on the keys, see what happens. She could be all fun. Now Lou's trying to step on that computer. We got like an animal mutiny here. They're tired of the show already. Like, that's enough. Can we get rid of the computers, please? And so, and we'll get into more baseball stuff with Franny tomorrow about some of the stuff that's been going on. Again, so early, and there's not a lot to make of anything. Like the Braves will start winning. Dodgers aren't going to win every game, I don't think. Giants have looked good. I give them that. They're playing clean ball. Pitching pretty good. Ramos swinging the bat. Lee swinging the bat. Again, what do you take from it? You're winning games on the road, which is nice. Anytime you can bank games on the road, I mean, that's good stuff. By the way, speaking of road, could this schedule, is this even possible that I look it up right? The Angels schedule the first 18 games, they play 3 home games. How can it be 3-15? And maybe I looked at it wrong. I'm pretty sure they played their first 6 on the road. Then they come home and play 3 against the Guardians and then go on the road for 9 more. It's like, a nice schedule. Here's your first 18, 15 are on the road. Good luck with that. I guess they probably thought you're going to suck anyway, so you're not going to matter. But, we'll get into baseball and we'll get Franny's thoughts on torpedo bats and Dodgers and all that kind of stuff. And, some of the young players in baseball. And then we'll get, as we start getting in, we're still going to try to figure out what to do because I'll be traveling once the Warriors are in the playoffs. We might do shows after if everybody's into that. Maybe go back to the hotel room, do a show after the game, like a little recap of the game and get my thoughts on the game. Grab a beer, sit down, do a show for half an hour. And if I can figure it out, we'll see how good Max and Daniel are training me to turn 3 buttons on when I'm in a hotel room, and so I can get this. Try to get this done. But no, it's good to be back doing the show. I missed because I was down in Tucson and we were at a celebration of life for my mother-in-law, Acacia, and it was nice. It was really good. It was nice to be down there with everybody, and she's an incredible artist, by the way. I mean, she has paintings that are just like, wow, that's like really. She made jewelry for a while, and then she went to painting, and she's just like really an amazing painter. Really, really whip smart. I think I played her in God, what's that game? I can't even think of the stupid game because I hate it. I never play it anymore because it's the Scrabble. Like I'm okay with words speaking, putting them on I'm terrible, and she just killed me. I go thanks, and then I'm never playing you again at Scrabble ever. But yeah, she was really smart, really talented artist too, very headstrong. So she could be difficult at times too. There's no doubt about that because when she had an opinion, the feet were dug in. But it was nice being down there with the family, and I'm glad it was a celebration of life. We did that for my dad too a few years ago. I just hate funerals. Who started with the dressing in black? Like it's just from the get-go, it's just dour, right? It's just bleak. It's just like everybody dressed in black and like that's the one rule I'm gonna have at my celebration of life. Colors, no black, can't wear black. You cannot wear black at all. And like I still do it because everybody else does it. I haven't had the guts yet to wear like the LeBron James draft night suit to a wedding, or I mean to a funeral, even though it's after Labor Day and I'm well within my rights, or before Labor Day. I don't even really know the rules. I think it's before. But you should be able to wear white to a funeral. But nobody does because, everybody wears black. Everybody's too busy being depressed. And I don't want people depressed, at my celebration of life. And I want them to be happy. I want them to wear colors. That's why it's no black. It's gonna be a no black funeral. It's what it's gonna be. And look, I like black. I wear black. I have nothing against black. I mean, I played in the NBA. Of course I don't. So you could wear black if you want to, just not to the funeral. All right, just not to the funeral. You got to wear a color of some sort. Isn't that right? Look, Lou's black and white, and she's my little police captain. But then I got to thinking too, like, I don't know if I can pull this one off, but I've always had two things I want to have happen. One is, when you're about to die, like you just kind of know it, you feel it, like, and obviously you don't want to die in a hospital. That's horse shit. Who wants to die in a hospital? Like my dad died at home, and I was happy that I was able to. Still hospice, but he's at home and took his last breaths at home. But he didn't want to. He told me when he was in the hospital for the last time, he goes, "I don't want to die in a hospital." I go, all right, when we get you out this time, we're keeping you out regardless. And we did, and he passed away in his bedroom. But I want to take it a step further. Like, I don't know if I can figure this one out, but instead of like sitting around for 2 weeks or laying around for 2 weeks and just surviving, doing nothing, I want to get dropped out of an airplane. Like, seriously, I want to get dropped out of an airplane and just splat. And I think that would be the bitchinest way to go. Now, I don't know if you can do that. If you'd have to tell somebody, like, look, I want to go skydiving, and then you just jump out of the plane without a parachute on, so they can, liability and all that kind of stuff. And I go, oh, I didn't know. He just jumped. He just jumped right there. The poof, like Wile E. Coyote down there. I think it'd be a kick-ass ride down to the bottom. You're gonna die anyway. It'd be awesome. What kind of thrill would that be? How many people get to jump out of a plane without a parachute, like willingly? Like, oh, it's gonna be sweet. And then you're going green, feeding the fish. I'd say drop me off around the far lawns. There's always great whites around there. Probably wouldn't last too long. And then you feed everybody. It was like, nice. Nobody has no cleanup, no mess. You don't got to worry about ashes. Like if I say, hey, spread my ashes around the far lawns, I've already done it myself. And they're not even ashes, just me. And I'm feeding the animals. Or, and this one might even be trickier. Like if I die and I can't pull that one off, I want a Viking funeral. I want like a canoe, the Susan B. Anthony's on the eyes, and just push me out to the bay here a little bit. and then I'd have to hire somebody because I don't think my family has an archer in it, but I need an archer, to light the flame and shoot it into some scrub brush. Maybe have some my favorite baseball cards in there, some family heirlooms and photos and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll wear like a warrior shirt and an angel hat and a wildcat socks and stuff like that, and then just boom into a blaze. I mean, there's probably fire code that makes that illegal, I would think, but you're on the water, so it can't be that bad, I wouldn't think. But that's probably not going to happen either. But how bitching would that be? I mean, that's epic. Those are two epic ways to go. One, you've already gone, but well, I'm not going to call it a funeral because it is a Viking funeral. How about Viking celebration of life? They'd probably think that sounds like if a Viking woke up and heard you call that a celebration of life, that I'm not sure that'd go well, but that's what it would be. Or still, the plane's the best. The plane is just like, again. So one can dream. Maybe rules will have changed by then and will allow for such chicanery. Now, you got to break it to the family, right? That's the tough part. Like, hey, I could be around gurgling for a couple more weeks. You're not even like, you got to lift your head up and drool coming down your cheek, and you did dab in your cheek, and you want some more applesauce. It's fucking, I don't know. It's fucking let me go die. Give me to the plane. The plane. So yeah, that's kind of the way. And then no color or no black, just all colors. No black at the celebration of life. So anyway, so now everybody knows. Everybody knows. I went to one this week, and then I just started thinking about this stuff. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I want to do something like that too. I don't want to do no funerals for me. All right, we're gonna get out of here. We're going to talk to Franny tomorrow. Friday, we're not sure. We may have another episode of what was that? Do you remember Daycare Fight Club story? I don't. Do you remember reading the Daycare Fight Club? I don't remember that one. Enlighten me a little bit. Give me a clue. Because I've talked about so many things that I've forgotten what I've talked about, and that's kind of part of how I do the show. I just go into so many tangents that I can't I don't write any of this stuff down. I just start talking, and like whatever comes into my head. Like I might have an idea of what I want to get to, but hell, I don't even get to half of it sometimes. Sometimes I forget it. I don't write it down. The workers that had the kids fight each other. Oh god dang. I gotta forget that. That sounds super cool. I mean, if the kids are willing participants, of course. I want you to make your kids fight each other, but that would be kind of rude. Get in there. I think my kids would have done okay though. I think they would have been able to battle. Do we got anything on that? I don't know. I must have talked about it, I would imagine, during the show at some point. Again, once we got into the very end of the show, it was all bets are off. Daycare workers charged after Fight Club video featuring toddlers. Okay, yeah, now I remember. Guilty. Look at, I mean, how come everybody's like mugshot just looks guilty? And why are you smiling, by the way? What are you doing? Is that them right there? Oh, boom. Oh, boom. Oh, they got the big Hulk hands on? That should have been fine then. You get the big Hulk hands on. I don't mind that. Little combat. It's like the movie 300. That's how you start out, man. You start out fighting. You got to survive. And if you're not even up to it, Sparta, they just throw you overboard. See ya. Nah, sickly. Get rid of him. Sickly. Get rid of him. You're out of here. I guarantee you one thing. Woke did not exist in Sparta. It did not at all. They're like, fucking yeah, right. Get your kid out of here. He has 5 moles. Not for us. Off to the trash heap with you. That's not a true Spartan. So, but that's pretty wild to think you're going to get away with Daycare Fight Club. I'll be honest, so I probably would have paid $5 pay-per-view. Check it out. I mean, just one time. Does that make me a bad person? Maybe. I don't know. But tell me. Look, people can say they don't like fighting. They don't condone fighting. It's who we are. It's part of our DNA. Do you know anybody that's gone to a hockey game that gets a beer during a fight? Anybody? Oh, fight. I'm going to go get something to eat. Yeah, the lines are shorter now. Everybody's going to rush in here to get the fight. I'm going to go against traffic. Get myself a corn dog. Get myself some kettle corn. Kettle corn and a beer during the fight. No. Get anybody that you watch hockey with that's at the bar. Maybe they're going to the restroom. Fight breaks out. They don't stop immediately and whip their head around. Everybody loves it. Everybody. It's whether you love a fight or don't love a fight. Fights draw most people in. It's just, again, I don't know why. DNA. It's interesting. It's interesting watching people fight. Now, can you get to a point where it goes that you're like, uh-oh, that's gone too far? Of course it can. Of course it can. You know, you guys, a lot of you guys probably don't remember Dooku Kim, who fought Ray Boom Boom Mancini and got killed in the ring. And I'm going to guess that's going too far. But, you know, that's kind of the line that's there. And every once in a while it gets crossed. And then people will say, well, we got to do, man, the rule. Why are we still doing this? Seems barbaric. It seems, and then we go ahead and do it again. Because that's just, again, who we are. But I mean, at least it's not, Christians Lions. I mean, people aren't getting eaten out there. And people are like, yeah, did you see Ben today? Got his fucking arm torn off. That's insane, wasn't it? That lion's incredible. Like that lion. You can't mess with that lion. I'm going to go see him again. I think he's like 14-0. Awesome. So, but I mean, that's, I mean, we're not there anymore. Thank goodness. We're having people actually die out there. I don't know if the whole Caesar thing was like, I don't know if they did the whole, or if that was just a movie adaptation, or there was actually somebody that gave the thumb up, thumb down and said, can you imagine that awesome power? I'd always go like this. Oh, they're going to save. Oh, fucking dead again. I always thought, it would have been better in the gladiator scenes if they'd have had somebody like walking around with a giant foam finger that said Maximus on it and sold those things. Like what do they sell? Ruby. I don't know what drachma. I don't know what the hell their coin of the realm was back then, but can you sit down? Who wants a fucking foam finger? I'm trying to watch this guy get beheaded. You kidding me? Of course, we get all that today. Get your beer, your popcorn, your foam finger, and whoever sold foam fingers, whoever came up with foam fingers, what an asshole that guy was. You just ruin it for the people behind you. Not as bad as the guy with the styrofoam cowboy hat, though. That guy was the worst. He's sitting behind the guy with the styrofoam cowboy hat, and he thinks he's fucking cool because he's on camera. Oh, look at me. Look at me. Oh, I'm on camera. Look at that. They're showing me. Now take the fucking hat off. You're ruining it for the guy right behind you. Paid $100 for that ticket, and all I can see is your stupid hat, and you're just happy you're on TV. Anyway. You know what I wish for those people? To be a part of our serial killer March Madness bracket. But not in the way you're thinking. I don't mean voting. All right, let's give you an update, and then we're going to get on out of here. Oh, man, Bundy. Just look at Zodiac. Is Zodiac going to take this thing? I mean, come on. You guys are going too far now with this hometown stuff. Zodiac 73, Gacy 26.7. Oh my gosh. I mean that so Daniel says if you don't get caught, that's GOAT status. Well, I mean, you do have a point. He doesn't even have a name. There's only two people that don't have a name here, and he's one of them. Zodiac and Jack the Ripper. And Jack even had Jack. I don't even know if they thought it was a Jack or they just give him Jack. Zodiac, and they have a kill. He didn't have a name. He just Zodiac because we don't know who the hell he is. But he's taking apart John Wayne Gacy. I have a feeling Gacy's going to come back in this one. This is not going to be a runaway. I don't believe, but that's already got 32 votes. And then everybody pretty interested. Bundy Ramirez, that's almost 40 votes. And Bundy, 71%. Oh, man, that could be the battle of the Titans. Bundy Zodiac? Yeah. rockin' new era hashtag homegrown. There you go. I knew it. I mean, the Zodiac, everyone's getting behind Zodiac. Everybody loves the hometown story. The hometown. I didn't even. Zodiac is the 15-16 Warriors. All right, fantastic. I'm sure they'll love that comparison. The Zodiac of the NBA, the 15-16 Warriors. When I put this together, Zodiac came to mind. He's just one of the guys that came to mind. There are a couple there that I had to kind of search for. There's one guy that keeps hitting me up. The whole thing's a sham. There's no Ed Gein. I'm like, well, look, I didn't get everybody. Okay, I'm sorry, but I figured it didn't matter because 1 through 4 were going through, right? And it was going to be the Fiendish 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I underestimated people's attachment to Zodiac and the fact that he was from here. And I figured that was more for your sports stars, people that grew up here, like when Dame Lillard comes back or Jason Kidd or like this for whoever's from the Bay Area in whatever sport, it really doesn't matter. Like there's an attachment to the area. I did not think that attachment would also include serial killers. I'm wrong. I miss them. It includes everybody, apparently. Actors, actresses, musicians, whatever it is. Because if it extends all the way out to the Zodiac, then everyone's included. So there you go. The hometown kid doing everybody proud, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Almost 72%. What do we got? 32 votes, 72-7, 27-3. These are in real time, by the way. You can see them updating. And Bundy just squeezing the life out of the Night Stalker. And so we're gonna keep this up through Monday, and then we'll have the is it gonna be Zodiac Bundy? Is Zodiac gonna take this thing? I mean, geez, what kind of odds could you get on that? I would imagine pretty big. I mean, it's only a 16 person tourney, so they wouldn't have been massive odds, but you could have got plus, I don't know, 10-1 maybe. 15-1, something like that, because the top 4 seeds would have been heavy favorites. So, Todd K wants to know what's cooking tonight. Chicken parm, you taste so good. Chicken parm, you taste so good. So yeah, everybody likes chicken parm. Chicken parm's easy. Here's the key: go to the when you go to the butcher, have them flatten it out for you, so you don't got to take it home and slice it and then flatten it out. You just give them like $5. Give them $5, $10, whatever you want, and say, hey, can you split them in half and then pound them out for me? So I'll get like four chicken breasts, have them slice it, pound it out, bring it home, salt and pepper in the flour, a couple eggs, and then go eggs, flour, breadcrumbs, and in the breadcrumbs I'll put some Parmesan cheese in the breadcrumbs. So just mix all that up, put it in there, 2 at a time, fry them up, turn it over, boom, put them on a tray, and then when they're all done, because I only have room to do 2 at a time, I get marinara sauce from the butcher shop too. They do marinara sauce like every day, so it's fresh marinara sauce. Love it. And get fresh mozzarella if I can, as fresh as I can. And then put the marinara over it, mozzarella, slice it up, boom, boom, and stick them all in the oven. And 20 minutes later, start some pasta up, and pasta, marinara sauce, chicken parm, marinara sauce, a little extra on there, and then boom. Takes 40 minutes. I'll have a beer, listen to some music, and good to go. So yes, we're going chicken parm. Chicken parm, you taste so good. So yeah, that's what we're gonna have tonight. All right. Per usual, I say we're gonna wrap it up and we do like 15 minutes more. And so Scott D said, is this a Dahmer recipe? No, it's not a Dahmer recipe. I'm sorry. This is bone out. So okay, and this is what we're looking at. So yes, but I do appreciate you asking. Now, look, I'm not. Somebody's probably done that, and I ain't going that dark. Like I've gone. I feel like I've gone about as dark as I want to. It's a little bit of a tightrope where you're kind of walking a little bit, but I ain't doing a Dahmer cookbook. Like that just seems completely unnecessary. And if someone's gonna do it, they're gonna be better at this than I am, because I don't know how to do that one. And yeah, that one's going into the recess of my mind that I don't want to go to. So no, there will be no Flores with another home run. Flores with another home run today? He hit another one? Are you shitting me? He's got 4 now? Wow. That dude is on fire. He wasn't on fire last year. He didn't hardly play last year. He's like all nicked up and everything, but holy smokes. Wilmer is rolling. Ramos is rolling this year too. He's hitting well. And like I said, Lee was hitting well. And I think Chapman was doing, like, again, don't go too much by the numbers because it's so early in the season. But the fact that the Giants are winning this game 2-0, and they've already won all the games they've won on the road, that's big. That's big, man. You just bank those games, bank those road games. And especially you can do it early in the season. This crowd's going to be going nuts when they come back home, because it's been a little lackluster the past few years with the Giants. Not only have they not won, they've been boring. You just watch them. It's like, oh, it's just not really exciting baseball. And by definition, losing baseball isn't exciting baseball for the most part. But you can still have an exciting team not be great and still be kind of fun to watch because you have fun players to watch. And that just hasn't been the case recently. But I think they have some guys that are worth watching this year. I think Adames can be worth watching. Chapman's worth watching. Hopefully Ramos continues on, and he's another, like, if not an all-star, one of those that's like, first half of last year, Ramos, as opposed to second half. So I think this team's going to be interesting to watch this year. I really do. And I think a lot of it, like I said earlier on, Ray and Harrison, even though Harrison's not there right now, are going to be integral parts. But it's tough division, really tough division. Dodgers haven't lost. Padres haven't lost. I know the what are the D-backs, 2-3. But again, I don't even look at this until there's like 30, 40 games gone. Then you start to develop an identity of who your team is, and ultimately what they can become. How my Angels end up doing? They end up getting beat. It felt so good too. And grand slam, I was like, oh, nice. And then it sounds like the Cardinals were gonna 12-5. Oh, they go up 7 in the 8th. Ouch. They give up 9 and 2 in the 7th. They were up 5-3. Who took a dump on the mound? Jesus, this is awful. So can't get too mad though. They're still over 4-2. 5-1 would have been nice though. That would have been nice. I'm gonna keep wearing this long as they're in first place. No, I'm not. But yeah, look, it's fun when you have a team that's horrible to at least be up there a little bit, because they're not good. They're just not. I get that. But I do think the Giants are going to be fun to watch this year. And look, Giants haven't been as bad as the Angels, but I think Giant fans kind of feel the same way a little bit. It's like, another seed, here we go. And then all of a sudden it's like, we're not that good. But I think this year there's legitimate reason for optimism with the Giants. 90 wins, probably not, but maybe mid 85, 88, maybe get you the playoffs, something like that. And then who knows, trade deadline, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like with the Buster Posey era starting, there's kind of a new outlook on the Giants this year, which is good. And I was just going to say, as John said, so happy that Farhan's gone. I never minded Farhan, but I get it. I always thought he was pretty honest with me and the way they wanted to run the organization. And I think he got a little bit of a bad rap, but look, you don't win, you don't win. And I know everybody wanted to get rid of him. And I don't think he did a great job of articulating what they wanted to become and how they're going to go about doing it. And I think he spent too much time worrying about the fringes, like trying to improve the team 22 through 40 instead of 1 through 8. But they took some swings. You can't make Ohtani come here. You can't make Judge come here. They did sign Correa. They decided it wasn't worth it with the medical risks. So they tried Harper. I guess they could have gone over the top, but the guys got to want to come here too. But maybe that was a mistake in going after the biggest fish instead of going after the guys right below that level, like the Giants did this year with Adames. Right? He wasn't the top guy, but he was right there, the next tier, and they went out and got him. And I don't think it was just about analytics either. It was about who you are as a person. That's one thing that still I don't think a lot of organizations know how to mesh: analytics and the human element. And that's part of, like, because Chris Rose said it, and I agree with him. You can't just look at the analytics. There's something about a guy and his personality and what he brings to a clubhouse, and 162 games, a lot of games. And is he consistent with it? And is he a guy you want to be around? And can he be a leader? And can he lift people up? And can he be just as happy for them as he is for himself when he succeeds? Stuff like that. And I think Adames is that type of guy. And I think you need guys like that on your roster. So, but I certainly didn't dislike Farhan as much as everybody else did, but I totally get it. When you're watching it and it's your team, like I feel the same way when I'm watching. I mean, and when I say my team, the Angels are really my only team that still kind of hits me in the gut a little bit. Not anymore because they're not good, but them and the Wildcats. Even though I'd like to see the Giants do well, and I do. My kids always tease me, "You're a Niner fan, aren't you? You're a big Niner fan." I'm like, I wouldn't call myself a Niner fan, but I want to see the Niners win. I guess that kind of makes me a Niner fan, but I didn't grow up with them like you guys did. A lot of you people did. So I didn't, I'm not like, it doesn't feel like a mule kick when they lose, although I'd like to see them win. And of course, the Warriors. I played for the Warriors, called games for the Warriors. I'd like to see them win as well. But, the Angels are the only team still that I hang on to because that's the team I grew up since I was about 15 watching, and, watching all the games and knowing all the players and going to the, when you go somewhere too as a kid, it just resonates with you. You guys get that. You went to the Stick. There's people hanging on to the Stick like, oh, I miss a Stick. Like, oh, fuck you do. That place sucked. You kidding me? The only reason you like it because of memories. That was it. There's nothing about that place that you look at and go, oh, that place was a banger, wasn't it? No, it really wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was old and rickety like everything else. Like, I'm sure people in Boston think, oh, man, I wish we had the Garden back. The Garden had so much character. Garden was a pit, too. I played in the Garden. It had dead spots. You would dribble and the ball would stay on the court. Be like, what happened? Where'd the ball go? It's dead. The hit a dead spot. Didn't bounce back up. Oh, and then after getting your ass beat, you go to this locker and there'd be like 2 shower heads that worked. And one of them would have hot water. The other would be cold. And they'd be like, oh, this is beautiful. I love the Garden. It's so quaint. The Garden sucked. It just had all the banners and had the parquet. It was a very cool setup because it had the overhang, like, it was like, it felt like every seat was on the court. So yeah, was it awesome to play in? I loved playing in the Garden. You kidding me? Because it had history and I love the history. But other than that, it wasn't like, yeah, this is great. The lockers are cramped. They're close together. It's either cold in the locker room or hot in the locker room, but it had character. Now, a lot of the new places don't have personality like the old places, but they're better. The workout facility is way better. The practice facility is way better. The trainer's room is way better. Everything you get off, like, everything's better. The spread, where they had the food laid out, everything is just better because of course it's better, right? Modern technology and all that, but the personality isn't there. That's what you miss about like Candlestick in the old park, is the personality and the memories that you created when you went there. But you can't tell me that if you take your memories away and a little bit of personality, like, you can't tell me Oracle is vastly superior, like not even close. And you can't tell me Levi's, not even close. Not even close. Well, I guess unless you're sitting in the sun and you're burning, then maybe that kind of hurts a little bit. But hey, wear sunscreen, okay? You know what you're getting yourself into. I'm like, God, you're not in the desert, okay? It's the Bay Area. Like, oh, I'm melting. It's 87. Oh my God. You'll survive, okay? Come to know this phrase, bucket hat. Wear one, okay? Don't just sit out there without a hat on and go, oh God, I'm burning. Well, wear something. Take care of yourself. But it's the memories that we create in those places. And once again, I've lost my way. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about, but all right. For the 19th time, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna have Franny tomorrow. And then I think again we'll do the Pablo. We'll reintroduce Pablo a little bit. We're gonna see who Pablo likes for the Final Four. We'll go out there and talk to Pablo, get Pablo's picks, which we'll be doing during the football season. But we'll do it occasionally. Maybe do it for the Derby, maybe some of the horse races, maybe some of the golf majors. Go out there for the Masters, see who Pablo enjoys. But Friday we'll go out there and visit Pablo and see who he likes for the Final Four, number 1 seeds. I think it's the first time, the only time since 2008. All 4 number 1 seeds. I think 2008, and that's when Mario Chalmers hit a 3 against Memphis to tie it up and then beat him in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. And so anyway, yeah, we'll figure out the Serial Killer Invitational Trophy. We're not sure what it's going to look like. It'll probably be tawdry, I would imagine. Yeah, it's probably nice, or maybe we'll surprise you. It'll be like a picture of like a record, KC and the Sunshine Band, like something you wouldn't expect. But no, it'll probably be worse than that. It'll be like something Art the Clown left in one of his after one of his killing sprees. Art the Clown, look it up. Good movie. At least Haley and I liked it. So, all right, until tomorrow, everybody have a great day. We'll be back to tomorrow, Kevin Franzen, and then we'll have a little more talk a little NBA, talk a little final. We'll get a little Final Four tomorrow. Like I said, celebration life, that side of the family is not huge into sports, so it wasn't like I was digging into sports this weekend. So, but I did keep up what was going on. But as far as watching, started watching a little bit last night. So we'll be back at it tomorrow, and we'll maybe preview the Lakers and the Warriors tomorrow, as the Warriors finally end the road trip, and then they got a back-to-back Friday. They got the Creamy Nougats who are in town. So everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining the show. Again, like, subscribe if you want. Fucking push it, do it. I don't really do what you do. All right, do what you do. In fact, rather than like and subscribe, which I'd love that you did, I'd rather you vote for the Serial Killers. That's what I really want from you. Go vote for the Serial Killers. Make me proud. I can say, look at what the followers of the show have done. They've voted like 500 times on this ridiculous March Madness bracket featuring serial killers. So there you go. You got Bundy, you got Zodiac, incredible matchup. Underdog, we got the Cinderella story, the Zodiac, the Cinderella kid, out of nowhere, out of San Francisco, creating mayhem, killing people all the way to the Fiendish Four. And then you get the big boys, the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez versus Ted Bundy. And I should correct myself, it's Gacy versus Zodiac. So that would indeed be a big, I guess Zodiac saying, bitch, you ain't stuffing me in the basement. It ain't happening to me, okay? Okay, I'm coming out. You don't even know who I am. I could be here, I could be there, I could be anywhere. All right, see you tomorrow. Oh.